So you're in the league, and it's 1990-91 season, and you're cutting through these guys. You're having some really good fights, but now it's time to fight Bob Probert. What's going through your mind the day that you got to fight the king?
You know what? When I was going up to people, it was the day before, the day of it got tough because you're thinking through the process. It's not like I'm not going to fight him. I was I know I'm going to fight him. How am I going to get to that point? And how am I going to go through the process? It's almost sometimes when I'd fight certain people, getting ready to fight certain. There was a method to your madness. Where you're going to have to get to, and it's just. You thought about it, and I don't think I'm the only one in doing that. But I had an idea of what was going to happen, and the only thing that screwed me up in the first time I fight Bobby was when we were playing Detroit. Dennis Viel sort of comes into the picture, and I
fought him.
He was a young kid at the time, so I ended up fighting him first, and that sort of
gas is
sort of threw things for a haywire.
Well, it's interesting if you watch the Viel fight. Probert's on the ice. And you see him staring you down like he's a predator. It's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't see Bob Probert that serious that often.
Right.
Like it was like because you had just dropped Crowder. Before that, it's like he sees you as like a really big threat. So maybe he was like even stepping up a little bit harder when he did fight you that game. You know what I mean? Like Probert was out to send a fucking message. To everyone in the league at that time, so running into Viel.
Well, you must have been the number one contender at that point.
Pretty much.
Well, at that time I was because I just had that fight with Crowder, and he was getting all this hype for him in the Probert fight, which really wasn't as bad as people say it was.
He stepped on a stick there, and it was a cut.
Right. But it just starts making news, and people don't even see the fight. And they're like, wait, what?
And
then the legend starts to grow.
And he took it very seriously. Obviously, he wanted the crown, but it was. But running into people underestimate how tough Dennis Viel was. So to go against Viel, he was nails, man. He was a tough fighter.
Yep.
So just to be able to go those two guys in one game takes some steel, man.
Well, when I fought Viel, and so when you're fighting Viel, and it was there was punches thrown, but there was a lot of wrestling going on. Probably the fight lasts for like 45 seconds, so you're in wrestling.
Yep.
You go in the penalty box, you're sucking air, you're doing everything, and then when I come back out in the ice, I didn't even get to go to the bench. I got put out right out in the ice right away, and I look and who's on the other side of the ice? It's Probie sitting there. So I'm going off saying, this is a son of a bitch. And so the play come down.
Isn't that how I had this drawn up?
Yeah, that wasn't the way I pictured it. I promise you it wasn't. But he was. I was down on the boards, and he come down to hit me, and I seen him coming, and we did, and it's probably a stupid moment for me because I should have waited a while, but we fought, and so I fought him, and I threw a couple punches, and then he strung me out, and I didn't have the energy. I just didn't have it to get to him. I couldn't get to him. His arms were too long, and I was strung out, and I didn't have
a period and a Gatorade in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. I needed something, but I needed something. I'd got a tryout with the Phoenix Coyotes at one point in time when I was all over, and it was my last professional tryout in an NHL team, and I got to fight Bob Probert again for the second time. I went in Chicago and I fought Probie, and so I did, and I did pretty good with Probie. I lose the battle, but at least I get to hit him a few times this time, so that was good.
That was a toe to toe war. Great fight, great acquittal of yourself in that. Yeah.
So I get to come back to battle him, and so when you do that, you know that you still have it, and so then you go down to the minors, and you're still battling because. That's the way your life was. You grew up doing that, and you still hope there's a hope there, but obviously it never came.